Well, this seems like a familiar place. We're back in the shop with the skid loader. Yesterday at the end of the day, we thought we probably should clean out the main barn yet. And so we did that and we were almost done. And I was pulling some manure out of this one little spot and I saw that we're broken again. And about that quick, it just fell apart. So we're gonna pull this apart again, get this thing welded up. The bummer is that this is our brand new attachment plate. We had just got this from Gale, like, well, a little more than 6 months ago, because I called them and said, hey, can you guys warranty this? And they said, oh, sorry, past 6 months. The crazy thing is that this last one lasted for years and years, and this one lasted for 6 months before it broke. So I don't know what's going on, but we'll get it fixed up and we'll get back at it. So you might have remembered, but a couple weeks ago, we fixed this part here. It's not that that's broke. It's this part down here. Goes right in here. And I actually noticed it was cracking a little bit ago, and we put some weld on it, I don't know, a week or two ago, thinking that maybe that would take care of it, but we should have just taken it apart and done it right, so I guess we'll have to do it like that now. All right, so the plan is we're gonna try to put this thing back in place first before I take it apart, tack it in place, and then that way we can line it up with everything. And then once we get it apart, we can finish welding it. All right, so we're struggling to get this side out here. There's that little plug that is what pivots on, and I think it's a dumb thing out. So we're gonna try this. Try this first. Hey, that worked. All right. All right, we almost got that welded back together, but we're gonna take a little break and go take care of the pigs before the day gets away from us here and get them squared away. Then we'll come back, get her finished up. While we're down here, I thought I'd give you a little update on the pigs. These pigs are growing like crazy. Now, this room here is the oldest pigs that we have. I'll show you those guys, and they are looking great. Hey, no biting, no biting. This will give you some perspective of how big these guys are getting. Hey, everybody's very curious when you're in here. So as you can see, we already took out all the mats and the lamps, and now we're ready to start doing sort down. So if you remember, when we bring the pigs in, we put them together in bigger groups, and then there's an initial grading that happens, and they sort them down a little bit. And then once they're in here for a couple weeks, then we sort them down again into their final pens that they'll stay in for the rest of the batch. So we're starting to do that now. We got this side already done. This side's already sorted down, and we're gonna start on the other side a little later. Sort down is exciting because sort down is the last phase of the little pig days, basically. So once we get to sort down, we're kind of through all the extra work of little pigs, and we can just kind of settle into the rhythm of growing and feeding till they're ready to go. So let's get to sort down. So as you can see on this side, we have several pens that aren't filled yet. So we'll get those filled up maybe even later today or tomorrow, and then this barn will be sorted down. Maybe it's just because I walk funny, but does anybody else get little rocks in their boots all the time? Every single day when I'm walking down this driveway, I somehow get little stones in my boots. It's super annoying. There's one in there right now. It's always a bummer to stop and try to get it out because I'm standing in my socks in the driveway or in the pig barn, but it's super annoying. So I just got back to the first barn and I got a call on the phone from the controller, and it said we had a high amp draw on the fan that I just put a new belt on. So I got a low amp draw and I thought maybe it was a junky belt. Went and looked at it and the belt was toast. So I put a new belt on. Now we got a high amp draw. Turns out the problem was not the belt. The problem was the motor. So we got to swap out a motor quick. I also got a trouble call that our ceiling inlet baffles are not working right. So let's go take a look at those things, see if we can get them fixed up quick before we head out. We always keep a couple spare motors around here because sometimes it's pretty important that we get them swapped out quickly. And that's the case with this fan because this is our minimum vent fan. So when the barn always needs to have ventilation. And so when the barn is heated, we obviously don't ventilate very much, but we still need to move air to keep fresh air in the barn. So we call that minimum ventilation, and this fan runs the minimum ventilation. So it's important that fan is always working because because that's the only one that we use when we're using minimum ventilation. So we'll try to swap this out right away. First, we got to get these ceiling baffles closed. Right now they're just hanging the whole way open, and therefore we're losing all of our heat. So last week sometime we had some trouble with this one relay in here, that it sticks in the open position. So I'm guessing that's what's happening again. So we're gonna try to unhook the open side of this. And see if we can run it closed manually. Looks like it's going closed. Yeah, they're going close. That's great because now we're not dumping all the heat out the ceiling. But it's obviously a temporary fix, so we'll have to get on that. But let's get this fan fixed next. I don't have a pulley on the new motor, so I gotta swap pulleys over here quick. Alright, well, a spare motor is not so good without a pulley. And for some reason, I don't have a pulley on that motor, so I can't get the other pulley off. The set screw is just rusted fast, and I'm just gonna leave it. I could cut it off, but then I don't have no pulleys. So I'm gonna leave that pulley on that motor, and we'll just take that motor right over to the repair shop, and we'll get a pulley from them. They'll have one. So not really what I was planning to do today, but gotta get her done. All right, let's go get a pulley. Okay, we're headed to the electric motor repair place. We actually do a lot of business with them, but it feels like we haven't for a little while. It seems like maybe it goes in spurts that all of a sudden all of our motors are conking out. But hopefully this isn't the start of a new series of motors conking out. But either way, we'll get her dropped off there and get that pulley and try to get back as soon as we can. We try to have spare parts on hand so that when things like this happen, we can just swap it out quickly and keep moving, but unfortunately didn't have it this time. So the great thing is that it's not the weekend and it's not a Sunday morning. The worst is when you have some breakdown on a Sunday morning and you don't have the parts to fix it. So we're gonna run for parts because they're open weekday, no problem, and we'll get back in order. I think we're all set. I dropped off that motor, they'll get that fixed up, and I got ourselves a pulley. So we should be able to get that on the new motor, or on, yeah, get it on the spare motor, get that put on, get them back in action. Okay, I'm back at my super suit. I think I have everything we need. Let's see if we can get this put back together. All right, motor's back in. I left this plate from the other motor, gotta make sure I don't lose that. So we talk about not dropping things in the hog barn, but this one is especially important because that's the pit down there. This fan is different than all the other tunnel fans, and then it has this box on it, so we pull the slide up and it diverts some of the air from underneath versus just pulling straight in. So yeah, definitely don't want to slip on this one or you'll end up in the drink. Looks like we fixed it. It's running, pulling normal amperage, so we should be good to go. All right, I think that was another successful repair, so we'll see how it does, but I'm sure it'll be fine. That's not too uncommon that we have fan motors go bad. It's kind of a harsh environment, and after a bit, they just need repair, so forgot to shut the door. That's why we have spares, so that whenever a motor goes bad, we can swap it out quickly. It usually takes them a little bit, a couple days at least, to get the motor repaired. So that way we're not down a fan while the motor's getting repaired. So we're all set. Let's get finished up down here and get on to the next. All right, so it's another day. Can you tell? Just doing a little bit of feeding this morning. We have that skid loader almost ready to go. I finished up the welding. We sprayed some paint on it this morning, and then we'll put it back together a little later. So, but it's just me here doing the feeding this morning, so we got to get these cattle fed, and then we can get back to some of those other projects. Just last night, we watched the new 10th generation dairyman video. And as I'm feeding this morning, that's very relevant because they announced some big news for their farm on that video, that they're getting rid of all their bunker silos. And they're gonna put all upright silos in and do a robotic feeding system. The decision to go to upright silos seems like a big deal. I mean, we haven't used our upright silos in years because we just decided it was more efficient and more reliable to feed out of a bunker and faster because we're scooping out like full scoops. So we decided to go away from upright silos, and they're deciding to go back to upright silos, which seems like a big deal, but I get it for the robotic piece of it because you know, getting it out of the silo is just a push of a button. There's no operator required really, so it's very easy for the robot to control that, so that makes sense. But it just seems like a pretty big deal, and like I said, I was just thinking about that this morning because here we are, scooping feed out of our bunker silos, and they're going back to upright. So I guess we'll see how it works out for them. I'm sure we'll get to see a lot of it. So check it out if you haven't yet. Well, I guess that's probably not a decision that we're going to need to make anytime soon, as long as we are feeding cattle at all these different farms. I think we're pretty far off from a robotic feeder that could actually drive down the road, but it seems like every day we get a little closer. All right, check that off the list. Send him out. Casey was waiting because he's got to clean out stalls with the skid loader, and we're mixing feed at the same time, so we need the other skid loader. So got her out. He's on his way. All right, Earl's back now, so he took my spot feeding. So we're gonna head to the hog barn. The boys are coming down with me, and we're gonna see if we can get that second side of the first barn sorted down. So Casey already, oh, let's get the lights. Casey already filled the first two pens here, so they're done. So the next pen gets 23, and then 26, and then 27, or 28. We'll have to see how it goes.
So what about the wet feet? So we just leave them alone?
Yeah, leave them alone. Right.
So we have to sort out the pigs because as they get bigger, they take up more space. So we sort it down to a smaller number and move the pigs around into different pens.
I think there's 37 in this one. Possible, right? Yeah, that's fine.
no, the door was left open. Oh. All right, we got them started. So I'm gonna go through the rest of the barns a while, and then we'll check back and see how they're making out.
Why does it seem like there's such a big difference in size?
How many more pens do you have up here to do? All right, I'm gonna go start at the back. I'll work from the back forward. All right, they have almost that first pass done, so I'm gonna go back here to the back and we'll start back here and see if we can fill these empty pens back here. It's nice to have a board with you because you can kind of block off the side here so they aren't running past you after you count them. Hey, big spot. Come on, guys, lock the door. They don't want to go, and then when they start to go, they all go. Hey, 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 hey. Come on, stop. Hey. Hey, come on.
Did you do this pen yet? Or no?
I did this pen.
Okay, so I'm on the side.
You're down on this side?
And then you did this pen, right?
I did this. This is one I just filled, yeah.
This is not done.
Count this one yet, and I'll start putting pigs in these pens here.
Starting with this one.
How many?
30. We need to take 3 out.
Okay. Give me 3 quick, and I'll put them in this pen. Okay. Is that it?
No, we need one more. Is that guy get past you?
That might have been too much. What's your put 2 pigs out? I need one.
Okay.
Watch out, there's 2 behind.
Hey guys.
That's 12.
Okay. So that pen's good then. You like my pink board? Generally this board doesn't get used because pink is for girls, but maybe pink is for pigs. All right, we're all finished up. We got this side sorted down, so now this whole barn is sorted down. So we're all set. We'll go to the next barn, but first we're gonna go get lunch.
Ice cream for breakfast day, but since it's already,
No, not ice cream for breakfast. Ice cream and waffles.
Oh. I know, but it's ice cream, National Ice Cream for Breakfast Day, so that's why we're eating ice cream for lunch.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought it was ice cream and waffle.
No, I thought it was.
Yeah, we're gonna be eating ice cream.
Lunchtime.
But